Good morning to my stamping, card making friends. I am so glad that you are here this morning, and I'm going to take a minute and get my video up. And if there is anybody on right now, would you let me know that my sound is coming through? I had trouble Tuesday night with my dying to know. I discovered after the video was over that there was no sound for the entire video, and I have no clue what happened with that. I don't know how in the world it had no sound because I didn't do anything any differently. So if you're watching, would you let me know that you can hear me? And if so, then we're going to continue. But if you can't hear me, I'm probably going to have to end this video and try to figure out what in the world is going on. I did a test run and it came out just fine. So I'm not sure that I understand. So please let me know if you're watching this live this morning. Let me know. You can just say yes. Let me know that you can hear me. Please. And I guess if you can't hear me, you're sitting there wondering what's going on. Oh, yay. You can hear me. See, I didn't do anything different. I don't know what happened Tuesday night. Thank you, Kay. Thank you so much. All right. Well, Tuesday night, I really regret that video did not have sound because it was using such an interesting product. It was the Thoughtful Moments Hybrid Embossing Folder. And I think you can watch the video and still see what to do with it. But you didn't hear the tips that were given along the way. So anyway, I may do that one again someday because Stampin' Up! Is coming out with more and more hybrid embossing folders, and I think it helps us to see them being used before we jump in and try to figure it out ourselves. And talk about technical difficulties. This has been a week of technical difficulties for me. First of all, that on Tuesday night. And then I went to print my pictures, my photos to use for the scrapbook layout that I was going to demonstrate this morning. And my printer would not take this 4x6 photo sheets that I had. And it was too late to pull them off on, I don't know. I haven't printed photos at Walgreens or CVS or wherever you go. I haven't done that in so long that I didn't have time to do that. I was tied up all day yesterday. So I didn't have time. So today, instead of the scrapbook, and we are going to do that. Hopefully next week, we'll see what happens. If I can get my photos printed, because I'm starting a new mini scrapbook for my grandson. So I want to get that started, and I want to show you how I'm going to use some of the products. But until then, today we're going to look at elements of text. And this is a stamp set that is so versatile. It can be used with anything else to create design, to create texture, to create dimension, depth, to create that shabby chic look, if that's what you're going after, that distressed look. I love that look. And when I want to create that, I have to go through my stamp sets, and I have to find stamps that show the splatters, and I have to see if I have anything current that has text. And this has it all. So I am so happy to have this and to be able to share this with you. Elements of Text has 2, 4, 5 stamps in it. One of them I have on a block, so we can't see it. But, well, let's just look at the cover. But this one is just an elongated section of text. This one is more distressed than these two, and it's just a small piece. This one, though, is interesting. It's a round piece, and I will demonstrate this one in a bit. And then the two different splatters. This one that's really distressed, and this one that's just mildly distressed. So I love this set. I love it. And I want to start by showing you some of the card samples that I made with this. So we're going to start off. This was the first one I did, and I didn't, you know, it's not a shabby chic card, so I didn't want to mess it up, but I wanted to add some elements of text to it, and just some texture to the front of this. So this is, I wanted to do a window too, and probably the bookbind fun fold is not the best way to do that, because then this doesn't go down as flat as it would otherwise. But nonetheless, I used dimensional strips and popped up the sheet behind. I cut my window out with Countryside Corners, which I discovered after I used it that it's retired. So, but it makes a great window. And then I used the birthday, what's it called? Wildflower Birthday. And I know I've shown this several times, but you get all of these cutouts with the Wildflower Birthday Designer Series paper. You get the paper too, but you get all these cutouts. So all of these cutouts came from the Wildflower Birthday set. And then the Designer Series paper behind here came from the In Color Designer Series pack. All right, and so then I also used a retired die from the Detailed, what's it called? Detailed something or other. Everyday Details. Everyday Details. So I needed something just to enhance this strip a little bit, and that's what I found. So I used the distressing just in the same color of ink, the boho blue. I used it just a little bit. I used this one and this one to create the texture here, and then on the inside, just a little bit around the inside piece. So that's one way that I found to use it. And then this card uses the mixed media florals, and I just stamped it. Well, first of all, I used some distressing around my white, using this and this and this just to add some interest to the white. And I also did it around the edge, using this around the edge of the crumb cake card base. And then this is the Country Woods, some of the Designer Series paper from Country Woods. This, the sentiment is from the Thoughtful Wishes embossing, hybrid embossing folder. So I pulled my drawer out and picked out a sentiment that went with it. So that is another way that you can do that. And again, I distressed around the edges, and I did it lightly so that you can write over that, and added a stamp, the leaves. I forget where that's from. Maybe the I don't remember. Anyway, so there's that. And then I wanted a masculine card. So Father's Day is coming. It's not very far. It's going to be here before we know it. It is going to be here before we know it. So I did a Father's Day card. This time I used the crumb cake, the 4 by 5 1/4 piece of crumb cake, and I stamped on it, all over it, using this one and this one, probably, and this one, all over it. And then I ran it through the with an embossing folder. I used the Time Worn Type embossing folder, and it really did some interesting things. I want to, hopefully you can see this and see the texture that it adds to it, to the background. I'm looking on here to see if you can see. Yeah, I think you can see it. So I did that. I used the Gone Fishing, which sadly, I mean, it's on the last chance. So if you don't have the Gone Fishing, it makes a great masculine card. So I created 3 layers here. I used the fish. I stamped and die cut the fish and the lure. I did use this from the Charming Duck Pond just to create some greenery in there for the fish to be swimming through. So another way that you can use this, you can stamp it, emboss it, and then use it as a background. Again, I lightly stamped on the inside and stamped a fish down at the bottom. All right, so that's 3 different ways that you can use this embossing folder. And the 4th way is using the, I'm looking for it. Let me see if I've got the citrus blooms. My mind just goes blank when I get on here. Does yours do that? My mind just goes blank. So this is using the citrus blooms, which is also on the last chance. So if you don't have citrus blooms, it's another one that you might want to go look at. It has this awesome die. It's a greenery die. Let me grab it. It's this die right here. And when you cut it out, it leaves the dimension of your cardstock, but it cuts out the center and cuts all that beautiful greenery out. So I used that. Before I did that, though, on the Lemon Lolly card base, I used this one. I used this stamp right. I tried to put it right in the middle of my cardstock, on my card front. And if I got it down too low, then I put the image that I cut out, I fussy cut this out of the designer series paper. I put that at the top. If I got it too high, I would cover it up at the bottom with something. So more than that, I just wanted my wording to be straight. So we're going to talk about that in a minute. So this, yeah, I used the Stylish Shapes dies and cut the base out of the Lemon Lolly, stamped with this, and then the sentiment from Citrus Blooms, all the love. And then my inside, one of the tips that I've given before is to look carefully at your designer series paper, and anything that's on the edge, you might tend to discard it. Don't do that. Fussy cut it out and put it on the edge of either your card front or your either your card front or your inside. And I was going to show you, here it is. So this is the designer series paper, which is also on the last chance. But look at all the pieces that are on the edge that can be used. So don't just go for the middle pieces if you're going to fussy cut. Use these outside edge pieces as well. All right. So what we're going to do, we're going to create this card right here together. So that'll give me a chance to demonstrate one of the stamps and let you see this last chance product one more time. So let me set these aside. Move this up here, and what we need is our Lemon Lolly card base. 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. Let me burnish the edge here. Now, what I discovered, I work really hard to get the outside of the front layer even, and I discovered that this one was not even because the first few times I stamped it, I evened it up according to this, and the image ended up being crooked. So what I have to do on this one is line it up with the bottom and ignore the front, ignore this part. So I lined my print up with the bottom, the edge of my stamp, or my acrylic block, and made sure that it was even with that. And I'm going to use Smoky Slate, and I'm going to ink it up. And I'm going to put this on one of the straight lines. I'm going to line this up. I'm going to even it up with the bottom of my acrylic block. And I've got it close to the bottom. And then I'm going to stamp it. And even though it's crooked here, it should come out straight. Let's hope it does. Looky there. Straight. It's straight. I went through several though where it wasn't straight. So I'm going to show you what I did with this. I cut it off of the card base, and we're going to use it to die cut our sentiment background. But yeah, it's definitely not straight. This one is. All right. And I think what we'll do is we'll go ahead and die cut our leafy card front. So I'm going to center it on this 4 by 5 1/4 piece. I'm going to close this. You know what? I'm going to get my white. This is 4 by 5 1/4. And I'm going to go ahead and stamp the inside. But I think I couldn't decide if this needed to be lighter because people may want to write over it. I'm going to try it. I'm going to try to stamp off once and make it lighter. Let's see what that, it may be too light, but we'll see. I'm going to ink it up good. And now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to line this up. Well, first I'm going to stamp it off lightly. And then I'm going to line my block up and move it up just a little bit and stamp it. It should be lighter. Yes, that's better. That's better. Great. So we've got our inside, that part of our inside done. And I can put this ink away for right now. Let me scroll down. If you have any questions as I go, be sure and ask. Don't hesitate to ask. All right. So now we're going to prepare this leafy part. And I'm going to line it up. I'm not going to bring the die cut machine over here because it just will only take a second to do this, although I do need to get a piece of tape. So hang on, it's coming. There we go. Okay. All right. Move this aside. I think if I didn't have this, for this die alone, I would buy this set. Because it is just so fun. All right, I'm going to take that off. I'll take the die off, and I pulled this in so we can poke out the pieces. Now, you'll have to clean up your die a little bit, too. But we're not going to do that right now. We are, however, going to poke the pieces out of this. So there's just a few pieces, not many, but there's a few that need to be poked out. There really aren't many. You have to get the inside out. Now, you could, you know, certainly use this as a scrap piece of paper. I don't know that you would actually use that for anything, but, and we're going to come down here and poke out these extra pieces that are right down here. Just a few. Okay. Now, I think that's it. That's it. Awesome. Is that not a beautiful piece? Look at this. Look at that. I love it. I just love that. Wonderful frame. All right. So now we've got that ready to go, and we could actually go ahead and put it on there if we want to. Now you can see that I have a little more room at the top than at the bottom, so that my image will cover that. I'm going to go ahead and just, there's no reason not to go ahead and get some glue on that. Put some down the edge, a little on each corner. Corner, the edge, and one more edge. All right, it doesn't take much. So we're just going to put it on here like so. Again, this is where I would take the block and mash it down. So I'm using my big block, so anyway, there we go. Now we've got that on, and we can go ahead and die cut our sentiment piece. So we need a little bit of white. Let me stamp the sentiment. Do I have it on the block? I don't think I do. I'll put it back. So we're going to use the stamp, All the Love. We get that. And I'm going to ink it up in black. The black memento, just for the contrast. And I want to be able to die cut it with this one, so just in the middle. All the Love. Get that clean. And I'll go ahead and die cut this. And I've showed you that this one was one that I messed up, and so I just cut it off. And I'm going to use this right out of the middle. Fits perfect. And see, I can even it up for this. So I'm going to use that piece and this piece and die cut them. One minute. I have to get these secured on here since I'm doing them at the same time. I want them to run through smoothly. All the love. Well, dropped my tape. Of course I did. All the love. And this one. Okay. I'm going to run it through both at the same time. Here's the sentiment. All the love. And that die goes there. And then out of the middle of this, we made use of the boo-boo. There's ways to do that. Ways to do that. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this onto this. You want to make sure, hold on. Yep. Want to make sure your words are, no, I did have it right. It's hard to tell with the distressed script, but you can tell whether the words are going the right way or not. Okay. All right, we'll set that aside. We've got this glued down. Now, I did go ahead and trim out a whole image and then this partial image, and we're going to use both. And we are going to fussy cut these. Now, if you use the die, the stamp set and the dies, you can stamp the image and the die will cut it out, or the dies will cut out the oranges. There's designer series papers with lemons, and there's some with oranges. And if I had chosen to use the orange designer series paper, the oranges, I could have used the die to cut that image out, but I wanted the lemon. And there's not a die for the lemon. So, now I'm going to cut these two off. I don't need them. And I really don't want to fussy cut around them. So, I cut those off. It'll make fussy cutting this piece a whole lot easier. I'm not a great fussy cutter, but I don't stress over it either. I don't worry about, do I have white showing all the time, or do I have it not showing all the time? Because really and truly, I think when people get the card, they don't look at that. So I don't let it stress me out anymore. I used to, but I don't anymore. So I encourage you not to stress about that kind of thing. the perfectionism of it, because I promise you, when people get your cards, that's not what they're looking at. They're looking at the beauty, the love that went into it, the design. They're looking at the sentiment, at what you wrote. They're not looking to see if it's perfectly lined up or if it's perfectly trimmed. They're not looking for that. All right. Got this one, Fussy Cut. This is for the front, and it's going to go right there. And then this one is going to be for the inside. So we're going to get it and cut those figures, cut those little flowers off, so I don't have to fussy cut around them. This is, I am going to fussy cut around this flower. It's just one. It's a little easier. And these little yellow blooms are kind of hard to see anyway. So, nobody's going to know whether you did it perfect or not. These edges just work so beautifully. All right, now we have our inside ready. I'm going to go ahead and put it on, and it's going to just fit right there, maybe toward the top a little bit. And get a little adhesive on here, mainly just the edges. I want the edges down. Sorry. Took the dog out to be a good girl good boy this morning, and I mean, that wind hit me in the face, and oh my goodness. All right, there's our inside. I think it looks great. We'll hold off on that. And now we're ready to add the elements to our card. So we're going to add this with dimensionals. Bring this down a little bit. Put dimensionals on this. Here, here, down here, maybe right over here. I think that's enough. All right. So I'm going to put this right here. That way my greenery shows around it a little bit. And then I'm going to add this with dimensionals. So on this one, I added black. I also have, where is it? A new package of this gold twisted thread. I'm wondering what that would look like. Will it get lost in the yellow? What do you think? What should I do? I just thought the black on this one was a little heavy. I think I'm going to try the gold, see what I think about it. So I want it doubled. I want a double bow. So I'll do that and cut it. Well, I can't decide if it's just going to disappear in the yellow. I may not have left enough. I may have to, I forgot I was going to wrap it. Can't get it, can't grab it. All right. I may not have enough to tie the bow. I don't think I do. So I will hold on to that for another bow that I'm not wrapping and get more of this. I'm going to straighten it out. So I need about, not that much, maybe that much. Okay, let's try this again. Now I'll go ahead and cut it. And I want to wrap it. I'm realizing this thread is a little harder than the twine to get them both through. So that's something to consider. Okay. I think what I'm going to do is put a dimensional on the back right where the thread is to hold it so I can tie it. So I'm going to put a dimensional right there. Now, all right, get my bow tied. I love gold and I love to use gold, but I was a little afraid it was just going to disappear on this one. Let me push that through with the other one. All right, where is it? Where'd it go? There it is. Come on, come through. Well, I couldn't get them both through. Let's try that again. This thread it's tricky. I'm glad to learn that. Now, there we go. There we go. Pull it tight. Pull it in some. Just grab, it's hard to grab hold of. There we go. I'll move it this way a little bit. The bow's taking longer than the card. All right, trim, trim. There it is. Put the dimensionals on the back. Put it right here. I tucked it under that tip, that leaf tip, just a little bit, and I want to make sure it's straight. There we go. So, what do we think? Gold or black? What do you like? Gold or black? Maybe if I had another little gold element to tuck under there, would that make a difference? If I had a little bit more gold? There's some of these little leaves with the, since I don't have time to die cut something in gold. Oops. There is this little leaf. If I like tuck the little gold leaf under here, would that make a difference? If I had die cut maybe a couple of pieces of this and tucked it in there, I think that would look good, but I don't like that. Okay. All right. So what do you like? Gold or black? Which one? You'll have to tell me in the comments so that I get your opinion on this too. All right, all we have left is the inside, which is right here. And grab my right side up would help. I had it upside down. Leave it to me. All right, here we go. Get it in here, centered. There we go. So here we have the two using the elements of text, the gold. Good, okay. Yeah, I thought this was just a little bold, a little out there. I wanted to bring out the text, but I didn't think it accomplished that. Good. Thank you, Kay, for commenting. And if you watch the replay on this, let me know what you think. I'm really interested in what you think about it. And if you're watching it on YouTube, let me know. So here are the other cards on which I used this elements of text. So I hope that's maybe at least giving you some ideas on how you might use this stamp set, and some different ways to create some fun cards. All right, thank you so much for watching. Thanks for being here for the live, Kay, and I appreciate your comments. And I hope y'all have a wonderful weekend. It's raining like crazy here, but we needed it, so we're thankful for the rain. But I hope you're not getting bad weather. All right, thank you for watching. You can find this on YouTube. If you want the dimensions for the card we demonstrated and photos of these cards, you can go to my blog, stampinddspot.blogspot.com. And I'll put that down in the comments so you'll have it. It is on this page, but I'll make it easy for you. Anyway, you can go there and find all the information and the photos and the dimensions. So thank you again for watching. God bless. Have a great weekend.